And look at who's joining. I was just speaking with Tracy, literally.
Hey, there we are again.
Imagine running into you again. That's funny.
I had to go run and get something to eat and drink for my 15-minute lunch.
I had a little water as well, and then I wanted to make sure I wasn't late for the meeting, so I show up 5 minutes early, like a Midwesterner, I suppose.
That's kind of you.
I'll own that. Right.
Yeah, I was a little early just because we switched URLs. So we had it webinar style through Zoom. Now we switched it back to a meeting because we just want to make it more interactive. So I was like, I hope this works.
Well, if I can do it, then it's anybody can do it. So that's
good. Dang it, I just had my CDF sweatshirt on, but I see everybody. You've got a CloudBees one. Tracy's got her Kubernetes one.
Well, it's super easy nowadays. I just wear like an undershirt. Normally I would have like a nice shirt on that I would have to take to the laundry, but now it's just an undershirt and like CloudBees wear, and I'm being a good person and a cheap person, and that's also good.
Yeah. I told Jackie I was worried about my wardrobe since we're not going to any events. I don't have any new clothes.
Yeah, but it's wonderful. You don't need it. And of course, yeah,
you don't. You really
could be in poor taste, but I'm going to say it anyways. Now I know what the 19 in COVID-19 stands for, and that's just the weight you put on while you're staying at home.
I know. Actually, I've done pretty good. I think not eating out has helped me. I eat a lot.
You're not traveling as much, yeah.
No.
So you don't have to eat out as much.
No, Jackie and I both live in Santa Fe, so we're her house is my safe house, and my house is her safe house.
Nice.
And we've eaten some pretty darn good food.
Oh man, I mean we've been like, let's make a beer can chicken, a whole roast, let's grill salmon.
Do you do the beer can chicken on the grill, or did you do that in the oven, or on the grill?
Yeah.
I did
we've
that.
Been experimenting with some recipes, pies.
We brined it.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yummy.
Every time we joke when we have a pie, we're like, do you think we'll eat the entire pie this time?
We always do.
Again?
No, we don't. We usually like three-quarters of it.
I finish it in the morning. Okay.
Well, it doesn't last. It's like a fruit tart or whatever. You got to eat it right away. That's my rationale. It's bad.
It's a perfect thing to eat for breakfast too.
Hi, Jimmy.
Oh, we have another person. Yay.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, hello. How you doing? How you getting on?
Hello.
We're talking about food.
Yeah, talking about all the food we've made. Now that we're home and we can't go out to restaurants, we've been really good homemakers.
Great. That's combined. That is partnered with lots of exercise as well. Yeah.
I learned to sew.
Yeah.
I'm making masks. That's all I know how to sew, but I can make a mask now in about 15 minutes.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you stitch the little thing in to make it hold your nose?
No, I didn't. I do put a pretty tight elastic band that really pulls it down this way. But I did not do the nose thing. I tried, and I was just like, that's too much.
That's advanced math right there, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe that should be version 2 of your masks for the winter, Tracy.
Yeah, you can put. I played with putting a paper clip in there, and then you have to stitch around the paper clip, and it just like it's taking too long.
Hey, Alyssa.
She was there.
She's joining.
She's coming in. Hello.
Well, we have the CloudBees contingent.
Hello.
Plus. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Keith. Hey, Jimmy. We can hear you.
Okay. Should we give folks a few more minutes?
Yeah, it's only 1 minute after.
Okay. What other new skills have folks learned?
Cooking and sewing were my two.
Gardening for me.
Yeah. Baking sourdough bread with
Oh.
Really? That's what how did you get your starter going?
That was my question. Yeah.
my neighbor. Yeah, so
We're
we
such
asked around
nerds. I
Facebook.
swear. How? Tell me about the starter.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so every day the kids love it, fresh bread.
Oh, yum. But your neighbor gave you the starter?
They did. And then, you build it, then you give it to someone else. And so that's kind of
That's cool.
Somebody's got to start it originally, right? It takes a while to get it started. You have to like feed it every day for like a month or something.
yeah, exactly.
Yum.
Yeah, I started a vertical garden with pallets. That was the other new thing I learned.
With the actual pallets, the moving pallets?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I tried to repeat it and I got everything growing, and then we had our 35 degrees and it froze everything. Everything's dead. Well, some of the stuff is still alive, but it killed a lot. That weird cold we had coming through New Mexico. It's bizarre. That's why I'm wearing a sweatshirt still. It's insane.
It's warming up.
But it's still, where we are, 20 miles south of you, it's still like 56 degrees.
So weird.
I know.
Like Dillip is on Mars, so I wonder what it looks like. I wonder what the temperature is there. That's gotta be.
Yeah, is that Mars?
Very inhospitable.
Yeah, just wishful thinking at this point.
Yeah. Forgive me if I butchered your name.
Dillip, what did you learn during COVID? Did you gain a new skill?
I learned that I'm perfectly happy being at home. It's just all the other people being at home that's the problem.
I learned that too. It took me a while, but now I'm so used to being at home. I'm so happy to be at home.
Yeah, I'm +1. If I can stay home and the kids can find their own home,
that would work very well. Yeah.
Is it because of the poem?
I know.
Was it the poem?
Oh my
Oh, it's the best thing ever.
It was the best thing ever. It was the best thing ever. I love
And I'm
that
happy
poem
you
so
posted
much.
it. Yeah.
I shared it too, and it got lots of
Parents are
comments.
the worst. They're mean.
That's me.
Well, you're a model parent. We should all aspire to have a kid who says that sort of stuff.
Yes, my niece, who's a school teacher, saw it, and she gave her A's on her penmanship.
Yes, she's very articulate when she wants to
And
tell me
yes.
how I'm not doing.
And on execution of the poem, and of course on the topic.
The concept. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get started. So thank you everyone for joining. This is our second CDF monthly member call, which I'm very excited about. We are going to kick off with, oops, if I could figure this out. We're going to kick off with talking about the CDF. So perhaps you've been paying attention. The CDF just went through an exercise and we updated all of our messaging. So the next steps will be to have that reflected throughout our website. So I know Tracy Reagan worked very closely with Cloud Foundry.
Yep.
Cloud Foundry to help get this new messaging developed. So basically this is a how to pitch the CDF, and we have 5 slides prepared for all of you guys to take advantage of. And then I'll just give an update on all of your benefits, how each of the channels are doing, and then also just some event recaps. We participated in the DevOps Institute Skill Up Day, so we've got some results from that. And then also other events that are coming down the pipeline. So talking about the CDF, I'll let the Tracys take this one away and let me know when to move forward on the slides.
Yeah, Tracy Reagan, why don't you go for it?
Okay, so we went through, no, go ahead. Yeah, there you go. We went through an exercise with some of the folks from the Cloud Foundry Foundation that volunteered their time to help us do some messaging. They interviewed somewhere in the ballpark of around 20 different people who are involved in the CDF, from board members to some of the probably individuals on the call right now. And then they put together a document, and it went through high-level messaging, tag messaging, messaging to end users, really what our story was. And these slides kind of describe it. So the high-level mission for the CD Foundation is that we seek a way to improve the world's capacity to deliver software with security and speed. I know that's super broad, but if we think about what our community goals are around continuous delivery, I think it sums it up pretty darn well. Next slide. And that, wait, go back to the other slide. That is in comparison to a vendor neutral location for continuous delivery projects. So you can see we sexied it up a bit. And adoption was apparently was something that came out in these interviews. And while we talk about CI/CD and we think that we need to get to the next level of it, there are still a lot of companies who are not doing continuous delivery and don't even understand it. So I felt like this, I think all of us felt that this mission statement was pretty spot on. Okay. So the purpose of the CD Foundation is to accomplish really, we exist to accomplish three things: to establish best practices of software delivery, propel the education and adoption of continuous delivery tools. Again, adoption is an important topic for us. And to facilitate cross-pollination through our interoperability working groups, and allowing the CD ecosystem to have some conversations about how they can interoperate individually. Next slide. And the way we go about doing this and who we are, first we need to be able to grow the adoption and be a user-first collaborative ecosystem for a vision for the CD future. Again, what we learned was adoption is an issue, and we need to help companies adopt a continuous delivery pipeline. CI might be something people are talking about, but maybe not so much CD. We serve as a home for both new and mature projects dedicated to the continuous delivery model. And that goes beyond just orchestration. So our TOC will be reaching out and finding new open source projects that are appropriate for serving our goal, which is increasing the speed of continuous delivery with security and doing it fast. Creating a cohesive body of educational materials. Again, this goes to the adoption problem. We want to be able to provide the educational materials for practitioners of all levels to really understand what continuous delivery what it is and how to adopt it. And then, of course, at the higher level, we serve as a governing board to make sure that in terms of the open source projects, we're governing with fairness and integrity. Next slide. So, in terms of a member, and if you're talking to other members about joining the CD Foundation, whether you're selling or creating continuous delivery technologies, a membership in the foundation really grants you unfettered access to these proven methodologies, real-time innovation, and most importantly, a seat at the table to steer the conversation. I think it's important to remember that while we are we're kind of in a shift. We're pivoting. We're pivoting from a traditional architecture to a modern architecture. And that pivot is disrupting the CD pipeline. So this is a very important time for members to be at the table, to start having these conversations and really start talking about what a modern architecture CD pipeline looks like. And your membership is vital, and we appreciate everybody on the call because it is vital in order to achieve the goal of, progressing software updates with security and speed. Being able to collaborate with each other and with leaders in the CD technology practice will be critical as we make this pivot from modern, from traditional to modern architecture. It's going to take a while, and we're going to have hybrid environments. We're going to have discussions about security. We're going to have discussions about how the CD pipeline how to morph in order to support a brand new kind of software delivery practice. and being part of the CD Foundation really associates your brand with one of the preeminent bodies promoting these modern software delivery practices. It also allows you to foster relationships with providers, end users, and your potential customer. And you're part of a critical open source projects within the CD ecosystem. And if you have open source projects that you think should be part of the CD Foundation, please let us know. So those are the 5, and the benefits for members. So let me go back one. So in terms of the messaging, what you just heard is high level for regardless of who we're talking about the CD Foundation to. So we might be talking to an end user, we might be talking to somebody who has an open source project. Those first slides really define who we are and how we want to talk about the CD Foundation. The next slide, you can go ahead to the next slide, is a member specific slide. And the benefits now, we've worked very hard. Jackie has worked really hard in particular to really bring out some benefits that we want all of you to take advantage of. Webinars. If you go to the CNCF and try to do a webinar right now, you can't even get on the calendar. We're open. We are open and we want content because that's how we're going to teach and that's how we're going to foster adoption. Podcasts. It puts a human face on our story. You know, Jackie, as part of the Pipeline podcast, she has something about tell us how you got into DevOps. It gives us a human face, and it gives us more character, and really changes us from a foundation that's managing an open source community to a community of thought leaders who want to take the CD pipeline from a traditional model up to a modern architecture. Community events, get involved in some of the community events we have. It's a huge amount of fun to volunteer and work some of these, the booth that we do, these community events like we just did Skill Up Days. We had probably 3 or 4 members participate. We got to add our collateral without having to spend a penny. I was sitting at a booth talking to folks and I had my collateral in the booth. Blogs and newsletters, the more we can talk about the CD Foundation, the more we're going to achieve the goal of teaching people how to adopt CD. And if you have things that you want us to tweet, we can do that. So we're here to help you get your message out. Social networking is critical. We've done a lot of work in building it, and we want you to take advantage of that benefit. Next slide. We've really done some work. Jackie has now, we have about 22,000 project contributors. Of course, Jenkins is a huge portion of that, and we so much appreciate the Jenkins community for being here. We have about 22,000 meetup members. I actually just started a CD Foundation online meetup. Our first presentation is going to be on Jenkins and PyTest, which we've already got, like, as soon as I posted it, we had like 15 people sign up within the first like 2 or 3 minutes. I only have 100 people I can support, so now I'm worried. And we have about 43,000 people who has registered for courses on the CD Foundation. So we're growing, and we're starting to get a little bit of heat. And you know, with that heat, we have the ability to really kind of push this idea of a community that's supporting the continuous delivery discussion, and having you a part of that discussion is incredibly important. And here's our membership. I don't need to go through each of them. And we're growing. So that's me presenting it. Now we're going to have Tracy do it. And she did a great job for Skill Up Days.
Are we watching this?
I don't know if you can be able to hear it, but. Jackie, you're going to have to put your speaker up against you. There you go. Jackie, you just have to put your headphone speaker up to your.
I think there's an option under the view options that allow to share video, audio, computer audio.
Just as a background while we sort out the sound, for the DevOps Institute event. They asked for a 2-minute video they could set up at the booth so people could play that and get an overview before they decided, whether to engage. So this was my attempt with the new messaging to condense it into 2 minutes and make it interesting to developers and practitioners to come and say hi.
Just Jackie, just take your headphones off and put it against your. Do you have a speaker?
The old analog audio coupling device.
Yeah, that's what.
We're back to modems. Mm-hmm.
If we can't get that working, I'm sure folks can catch it in the slides. I was interested to maybe just pause there and take a pulse, and I'd love to know what folks think of the messaging. Does it resonate? Is that something you'd be comfortable? Does that make you happy to be part of the CDF? How does it set your expectations about what we should be producing? And yeah, if I could open it up to anyone on the call to share some opinions. Don't be shy, I'll wait.
I have that.
How about you, Sam, if I could put you on the spot?
And
Wow.
Wow. This is how it's going to go, everybody.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was going to be like, well, I'm not going to say anything because I'm the brand new person. So I like the overall cleanliness of it. I actually, when you had mentioned, Tracy, the prior thing that had said vendor neutral, I really enjoyed that part of the original phrase. Can you go to that slide with the mission statement while we're talking about it?
There we go.
All right. And so, yeah, this definitely sums up. It's a great vision for what we want to try and help the world, or what this group is trying to help the world do. So I think that's fantastic. I think that what's the outcome that we want from that? Why do we want them to be able to deliver software with more security and speed? Is we want to help advance the human condition by teaching them to deliver software with security and speed, maybe. Because then it's a much bigger, you're solving a much bigger problem.
yeah, so if you go to the next slide, the other 3 slides, establish best practices, propel education, and facilitate cross-pollination are kind of the how to.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, thanks for that, Sam. And anybody else want to share? And maybe, I think this is the first time we're trying this as an open meeting. So apologies if we didn't do intros, but maybe I'll ask a couple of folks. You can do a quick say where you're from. But anyone from, I know we've got a couple of the folks from Fidelity on. Jimmy or Keith, care to share kind of any thoughts?
Yeah, so it's Jimmy here. Yeah, interesting. I like I'm not sure if it was in here, but sharing best practice. I think that's really, really important. And I think the kind of, I suppose, bettering ourselves, and that kind of slant is interesting as well. I think this stuff has got so complex. We need to our thinking, our thoughts to actually get to where we need to.
Great. So best practices definitely resonates. And
yeah, absolutely. Especially for us, we're pretty much doing lots of different things, different ways.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And anybody else?
Yeah, I like it overall. I think the message for why you should join also resonates. I think it's I think this is a well-crafted message. I think the vendor neutrality doesn't show up in the deck, but it's a, I don't know if we should make that pop in some way, but otherwise through the message, it does feel like it's we are setting up a forum that is open and inclusive for all, focused on solving this set of problems for everyone who's interested. I think it's good. I like it.
So we could possibly on this governings box here add, governing with fairness, integrity, and intention to support a vendor neutral community.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I think that's like for end users like us, or end user members.
Yeah.
That's important. The practitioner and the practice is important as well for us. Right?
Yep.
Because for us, it's about the capability, and it's about understanding how others are doing it, so we can, we can share and we can learn and we can get better
in an environment that's relatively free of agendas, right? That's, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I can make that update to the first 5 slides, and I'll check it back into GitHub or to Git.
Perfect. Anyone else has any comments or anything that might seem like it's missing?
I'll just say I liked the slide that outlined the different opportunities for folks to get involved. I think that's very helpful. I know that as a guy who works in marketing, these are things that I would be interested in having a conversation about.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, and again, for end users, that's interesting. Those channels to kind of message out what we're doing is interesting for us.
Great. Okay, let's leave it there, but yeah, feel free to share any feedback, and say we'll send out the link to this, and we'll put the links to where you can find the sources in GitHub as we keep them up to date. And yeah, feel free to reach out to Tracy Reagan or myself if you want to talk offline or you have any other feedback. Okay, I'll hand back to you, Jackie, if you want to carry on.
Thank you. So normally also one of the other things that we do during this meeting is just go over some of the channels, and then also I've got instructions on how to get involved and submit your content. So the podcast has been actually one of our, I've been amazed at how well this program has done. We're not even at 2 months yet. We've already published 6 episodes, and as of today we've had 945 downloads. In the first month we had 613, and the average number of downloads expected per episode in the first 90 days, you're expected to reach about 270 listeners. I was asked by Tracy Reagan to put this up because she wants to gamify our podcast episodes. Clearly, she's leading with 354. We're looking for someone to dethrone her.
Yes, yes, yes. Somebody can get to 400. I know it.
And so these are the 6 episodes that we've published. The first one was on configuration management. That was with Tracy Reagan. The following one was with the power of open source community, and that was with Marky Jackson, who's one of our ambassadors. Then we had the SIG interoperability chair. We had Cara Delamarque from CloudBees, and the CTO from Puppet discuss interoperability. Then we had Google come in and talk about trying to define continuous delivery, because Christy Wilson from Tecton is writing a book on continuous delivery, and so she's been trying to define some of this verbiage. And then the other one that we just recently had too was DevOps Moonshot and Continuous Product Oriented Practice, and that was also from one of our ambassadors. The most recent 2 that we just published last week was What is GitOps? And that was with Victor Farsick from CloudBees as well. The upcoming episodes that I'm publishing, recording and publishing are based on value stream management, and both are from our ambassadors. So one is Tiffany from Harness, and the other one is Helen Beal, who's the DevOps Institute Chief Ambassador. So if you have a podcast idea, we have a form to submit it. Then you'll also need to schedule it through Calendly. If you want more information about the podcast program, it's that third link. And if you haven't listened to us, there's also a link there to our Buzzsprout, which has all of our episodes. And webinars. We just launched our first webinar on the 26th. It was with also Deploy Hub, so AKA Tracy Reagan. We had about 142 registrations and 26 live attendees. We also make these webinars on demand through our YouTube channel, and so far we've had about 59 views. The next upcoming ones, sorry, this needs to get updated, are on the 11th. That is with Robbie Lochman from Harness. Then we have OpsMX, and then we also have one of our ambassadors teaching one. We had to reschedule it last week, and that's going to be moved to the 16th. So this is also another really great benefit for you guys to take advantage of. It's, you know, basically promotion for yourself and for your company. And I think this is another great program that I really want to see it become successful.
Question,
yeah.
Sorry if I could interrupt on that last slide. So if we were to want to, let's say CloudBees was to want to do a webinar, we could come up with some topic and we could find a slot in your calendar. Is that how this works?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it works. So I try to record Tuesday through Wednesday. And those are obviously live events. So I need a little bit of lead time so that I could also start promoting and trying to drive registration. But yeah, it's through the I also have a Calendly link there. And then it has all the times where I record. If there's a time, because I understand that we have folks who are in different time zones that doesn't work out, reach out to me and then I'll schedule it on the back end.
Okay. And so thank you for that. So I guess my question would be, and this is more meta, I think, for this group to consider. I see Deploy Hub doing their webinar and Harness is doing their webinar, and it feels very vendor specific for a group that's talking about being open.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And the reason why, because it's a member benefit.
Okay.
So this is the opportunity for you to use this platform to also promote your own technology. I don't want to limit it to
thought leadershipiness. Okay,
yeah.
that's fair. So there's a pay to play aspect. Okay,
because
very good.
You know, I think is it devops.com? I can't remember now. To do a webinar through them, it's $7,000.
Yeah, it's expensive to do this. This is a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I think as we grow and as we get more people wanting to do webinars, that we might want to review them at some point in time and make sure that they're not just pushing their product, but providing some thought leadership. And if you're doing a good job of pushing your product, you should be able to explain why your product is needed in the problem space that you're addressing.
Right.
But
and that's, I guess maybe there's an opportunity there for the CD Foundation to have some of those thought leadership-y webinars on top of the, you know, the things that you have to do to please the sponsors.
Yeah, like when I did mine around what happened to configuration management in microservices, pointing out the challenges when you don't have a monolithic build. So I think that most vendors would comply to that if we wanted to start, you know, forcing their hand.
Yeah,
it's gonna provide
even from a non-vendor, right? So which is also like talent attraction would be a reason to kind of participate here.
I mean, nobody wants to go to a commercial, but they want to learn. So most vendors are pretty good at putting together a webinar that has educational material and around their own content.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
And then the other thing that we might think about in the future is that might be something that has to do with open source, in particular, one of our projects. You know, how it integrates with Jenkins, how it integrates with Jenkins X, you know, how it integrates with Tecton or whatever else we might be doing. And that may be a way to control it as well.
Okay. And blogs. So this is also another opportunity for members to provide blogs or content to us. This is the type of recommended content we're suggesting. So take a look at that. These are the webinars we published in May. We have a significant backlog right now, so I apologize if you submitted one and it still hasn't been published. But right now, what's causing that backlog is our ambassador program. I'm making all of our ambassadors introduce themselves to the community. So we're at 47 ambassadors right now. So that's really what's taking up the majority of our backlog. And yeah, so far we've published over 20 community blogs in Q1. So here's how to read the latest blogs, also our guidelines, and then how to submit a blog. But beyond blogging, this is something that our PR folks put together for us as well. Is you know, we're here to help with releases and media pitching. So one example was the Tecton beta. This is the type of content that, you know, if you have if you're contributing to one of our open source projects and there is an announcement like this, please let us know. Jesse will work to put a PR plan together and start pitching to publishers. And then our newsletter, I'm super excited about this. We have a brand new newsletter editor, Roxanne. She used to work for the Eclipse Foundation, and she's just amazing. And we're starting to already see some of the improvements that she's made on our newsletter. We're seeing that reflected in our data.
Jackie, did she work on the last newsletter?
Yes, the ML Ops is the one that she published. It was so beautiful.
It was. I was like, oh, look at this. I was so happy to see it. Good job.
So yeah, if you have news, we're trying to, every month we pick a topic and we try to align all of our content to that topic. So for July, we're collecting content. It's security. So if you have some spare time and you want to write some articles, please let us know.
And Jackie, if I could jump in as well, and to Sam's point, I think the newsletter is one of the areas we're picking first to really start driving kind of a more opinionated story for the industry. So, you know, when we talk about, you know, how is CDF going to drive the story of CI/CD and beyond, I think the newsletter, we're doing a lot of work with the folks who offer to write to start connecting those up as a bigger picture. And then as it evolves, I'm hoping it's more and more kind of new content that's guiding people with best practices and things like that. So yeah, it'll be pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was May performance. So we had a delivery rate of 94%. We had an open rate of 29%, and we actually saw the open rate jump almost like a percentage. So we went from 29 to almost 30. So that was something that we were really excited about. We still need to work on the clicks, but that will I think that'll start to get addressed now that we have somebody dedicated to the newsletter. So this is our editorial calendar. Like I mentioned, May was interoperability, June was ML Ops, July is security, and then we'll also announce the rest of the topics once we get consensus from the outreach. So yeah, so this is the type of content that we're also looking for. So please let us know. And then again, this is some of the guidelines we put in place to submitting the content, where to submit your newsletter article, how to submit to our newsletter, and then also our archive.
So I have a question. and this might be more specific and we can take it offline, but we've just done an announcement about ATO certification with the Department of Defense. Is that at all interesting? I mean, it has Jenkins is in there, right? Is that interesting at all from a newsletter perspective or no? And we can take this offline if that's more appropriate.
Yeah, let's take it offline because Tracy, I don't know if you have an opinion about that.
And I'm not pushing for it. I'm trying to figure out where the
boundary is.
So
yeah, I think let's talk. I don't think it fits in the newsletter, but I think there might be ways
We could do a
with the
blog. Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then events. So just to recap on Skill Up Days, we had a booth, and again, also Tracy M did a video that also was part of the intro, and then Tracy R did a presentation. So we had 4 of our members help us volunteer for the booth, and then we also had 13 of our ambassadors participate, so that was really helpful. We had the ability to also upload a bunch of content from our member companies. And right now, the leader of the downloads is Puppet. So this was also really, what we realized was this was a really great opportunity for our members to get some free brand awareness by providing like white papers or case studies or, any marketing material about their company. So we had a total of 885 folks visit the booth, unique clicks, and then also tab clicks. So there was a tab bar when you go in the virtual platform where it had a few links like to our Twitter, to our LinkedIn. So that's what it's referring to. And then documents viewed, 3,000 folks looked at the documents, and then 1,000 folks looked at the videos that we had there. And then this is a breakdown of each of the pieces of collateral that was submitted, how many views each of those got. So as you can see right here, introducing Relay, the next leg, they got 320. But like we had Jenkins, Access, Kubernetes, and stuff from our ambassadors that they provided to that, that got some significant downloads. And then, yeah, this just goes into detail of each of the videos, how many views they got.
Oh, hey, how are you? Doing okay.
And then this is our event roadmap. So Spinnaker Live is happening next week. So please register if you have the time.
Okay, so I'm glad
we're also
okay,
sponsoring JFrog Swamp Up online. And that there's 2 days for that. There's an Americas time zone, and then there's also one for EMEA and APAC. So I'm also calling for volunteers because we'll have a virtual booth there. And then it'll be the same setup that we're offering, that we offer to our members at Skill Up Days. It's, hey, come and volunteer, submit your content, come represent your company. Basically the CDF booth is a place for everybody from our members to be represented.
And Jackie, on that, have you sent out like a call? I haven't seen anything for.
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I haven't yet.
Okay.
That is on the to-do list for today. And then the next one that we're also sponsoring is Skill Up Day. Also same setup, looking for volunteers to represent companies or the projects, and then also be pulling help from the ambassadors for that. The other ones that I've been approached about are DevOps India Summit. And then we also just met with the CloudBeast team yesterday. They presented to us, what they, the sponsorships available for DevOps World. So that's some, I'm waiting for them to finalize the proposal so I can roll it up to the outreach committee, because they're giving us the opportunity to do a CDF track and also a virtual booth. But there is a lot of pre-planning that will need to go into that. So I need to see if the outreach committee will have the bandwidth to help, because we also have our own events that we're trying to that we're trying to put together. So for example, CD Summit Europe is happening in August. Then we have CDCon, which is our first flagship event. That's going to be online in October. This is CD Summit North America. Then we have CDCon 2020, which is not till January. And then one I'm missing too is Spinnaker Summit, which is also in October. So we've got a lot of events that are coming up. And so we'll need to make a priority call on what we focus on as well. So all of these are to be finalized. But yeah, I'll be sending out emails to the outreach committee, to the ambassadors group to start organizing folks to volunteer. So yeah, this is more details on our virtual summit in October. CFP is open. So if you please go and submit a talk. And the deadline for that is July 10th. That's when it closes. And then again, our event for our big flagship event, if COVID permits, would be in San Diego, June 2021 at the Gas Lamp Westin. Our ambassador program, we have 47 confirmed ambassadors and I still have 9 pending applicants. We had our second call yesterday. I've got a lot of eager folks. We just need to get organized and be very specific of where we need help from them. But I think this is another program too that is going in the right direction. And then this just is an overview of the ambassador program, some of their benefits, and then moving on to social media. And please stop me if you have questions. This is just yes.
You just send it. You're going to send this out afterwards, right? The deck.
Yes, it's actually in the invite too.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. I have
invite.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So our Twitter channel is also doing awesome. In April, we had 3.9K followers. We've grown to 4,100. So that's been about a 6% growth in a month. Again, I think every time we have some newsworthy announcements, using Twitter has been really helpful to spread the word. I think it's one of our strongest social media channels. So please let us know. I have a form as well. If you have tweets or content or social media swipes about events or any other news related items, I have a form to fill out that makes this process easy for you. And then LinkedIn as well. We're growing every month. We're going in the right direction. Every month we have more unique visitors. A 68% jump in May for visitors, which was awesome. So we've grown in followership, 39% in new followership. So I'm really excited about this channel too. I just need to do a little bit more work. And then also the podcast performance broken down by episode and also our top apps. And then just our total downloads.
Who's the top podcast there again? I forgot.
Don't give that sore winner any more ammunition.
Don't get me started.
So that was it. Just wanted to give you guys an update on how each of those channels are performing, and just also invite you to please submit some of that content. We are happy to share through them. Okay, that's it for me.
Yeah, again, thanks, Jackie. I think that's really nice to see all the programs and initiatives coming to life and taking off. We don't have an update from the Technical Oversight Committee this week. So I'd love to just open it up again just for any discussions or topics. If, is there something else you'd like to be seeing at these member calls or discussions you'd like to be having? Any feedback on that would be great to hear.
And I see that Rosalind is on the call. Is there anything from the outreach committee, Rosalind, you'd like to add to what we just presented?
I'm listening and I'm on the call, but I received a call and I'm on the phone. So
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All
I
right.
can't add it. I
No
don't know that I
problem.
have anything specific to add, but I'm going to mute while I finish this. Sorry.
Okay. And that would be it then.
Thanks a lot, Tracy and Co. Thank you.
Yeah, and also if you guys have feedback on other type of information that you want to see presented in the monthly member call, please also let us know. Because these are these meetings are brand new. We're still trying to figure it out. So feedback is really valuable.
No, thank you. It's good.
Very good. Thanks for including me.
Okay. Thanks,
Great.
everybody. Talk to you in a
Thank
month.
you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.